And so I just want to close out this session by asking a basic introductory question. Why? Why do I even have this battle? Why do I even have this fight? Why the struggle? What's really going on? Why can't I stop? Why can't I walk in purity for longer than a few months or a few weeks or a few days or a few hours or a few minutes before lust flares up again? What is my real problem? That ought to be the question that's ringing in your heart. What's at the root? I know what it is. It's those girls, right? Man, if it was just Adam and the animals. Well, it was. And the woman came, and it was beautiful. And then Genesis 3. That's when we began to have a problem with the beautiful helper called woman that God gave man. Sin. Is it the TV shows? Is it the raunchy magazine racks? Is it the billboard ads? Man, she looks like she's trying to sell more than State Farm insurance to me. I don't know. Is it the beer and bikini commercials? Is it the pro sports cheerleaders? Is that the problem? I know. Is it the internet? When the internet came, it just opened up the gate to pornography. Is that my issue? Is that your issue? Is it the fact that we're in a sex-saturated society? Huh? Or maybe you're saying, you know what? My big issue is it's my dad. Or it's my brother, it's my uncle, my cousin, my friend. That guy that introduced me to pornography. Or maybe you would say, my issue is I was abused by a cousin, or uncle, friend. Or maybe you get real spiritual and say, it's the devil. It's the devil. That's why I struggle. Or maybe if you're really spiritual, you'll say, it's God. That's why I struggle. He is sovereign over all sin and over all my choices, and he can stop me in an instant. He's almighty, so ultimately God is behind my problem with sexual lusts. And that was rambling in the minds of the believers that James wrote to. And so, let's go to the root from the book of James, chapter 1. James, chapter 1, verse 13 through 16. Let me read God's word. It says, let no one say when he is tempted, I am being tempted by God. So remove that one. It's not God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, and he himself tempts no one. Verse 14. But each person, pay careful attention, each person is tempted when he is lured and enticed by his own desire. There it is. By his own desire. Not God. Not the woman. Not the way I was raised. Not me stumbling across a porn site. My own desire. Look at verse 15. Then desire, when it has conceived, gives birth to sin. And sin, when it is fully grown, brings forth death. Verse 16 says, do not be deceived, my beloved brothers. A lot of imagery going on. How many of you are fishermen? How many of you are fishermen? Fishermen? Any fishermen? You see, you got in verse 14, lured in. It's like that bait and luring. And then verse 16 says, don't be deceived. Right? Don't be deceived by the bait. This is going to taste really good. It's got the right bait on that reel right there. Oh, the enemy knows. He's not omniscient, but he's wise. And he'll put on the end, oh, he likes the blonde ones, the real skinny blonde ones. He'll put that out there. Or maybe, no, he doesn't like that. He likes the ones with the afro puffs. Put it out there for you. Or he likes other men. Lord, don't be deceived. This is a lie to lure you and to entice you into self-destruction. So God's word says here in verse 15, not only the fishing analogy, but look what pops up. Verse 15 basically says that being deceived by the lie of sinful lust is like conceiving and birthing a child. You see that? Except there's a tragic end. So let's just follow the text. Step 1 from verse 14, sin bait. Looks good, lured and enticed. Whatever it is, that looks good. Step 1. Step 2, from verse 15, your desire takes it. Then desire, it says. So your desire takes it, bites it. Instead of aborting instantly, it's the only good abortion, aborting lust in your own self. We protect the life of children. But when a sin child is being conceived, we ought to kill it. But look what happens. Step 3. The sin happens. Look at verse 15. Then desire, when it has conceived, gives birth. There it is. You give birth when you don't kill that desire. So you've got the lure, and then you have the biting. You take it with your desire, and then the sin happens. You actually do it. You watch the porn. You masturbate. You have sex outside of marriage. Then step 4. This is horrific. The sin baby that seemed so precious and satisfying at first grows up. You see that in verse 15? And sin, when it is fully grown, so this sin grows up on the inside of you because you refuse to kill it, and then it turns on you and kills you. See that? What does it bring about? Death. Death. You were lured in again, and your desire bought it, and sin happened, and you did it. And when it becomes grown, it kills you. Kills your joy, kills your peace, kills your fellowship with God, kills your relationship with your wife and your girlfriend and your friends. Several years back, an old high school friend told me something shocking about Chris. Chris was literally the nicest football trainer that we had at Elsik High School in Houston, Texas. He told me that Chris is in prison for life. I was like, why? And he told me he murdered his parents. That is tragic. That's the picture in James 1. when we play games with sexual sin. This is the James 1 picture of sin and what it will grow up and do to you if you continue to do it. The wages of sin is death. So precious at first, giving birth to it, enjoying it, and it grows up and it kills you. This is not a game. The sobering truth of James 1 reveals that all of the sexual temptations that we have ever fallen for were really mirrors that revealed the murderous monster of indwelling wickedness that dwells on the inside of each one of us. Listen to how King Jesus says it in Mark chapter 7, verse 20 through 23. Listen to this. He sure knows what the real problem is. Listen to your Creator. Jesus says, what comes out of a person is what defiles him. For from within, out of the heart of man come evil thoughts, sexual immorality, there it is, theft, murder, adultery, coveting, wickedness, deceit, sensuality, envy, slander, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within and they defile a person. Evil from within. They come from our hearts because of our sin. Your problem and my problem is inside. It's not a computer screen. It's not a short dress. It's not an attractive woman. It's not what happened to you when you were 8. All those may be factors, but at the root of it, men, our hearts are wicked. We have sinful hearts. We have wicked spirits. We have dirty souls. We have evil in our inner man. Famous preacher C.H. Spurgeon said this, beware of no man more than yourself. We carry our worst enemies within us. Listen, your lust problem is not owing to the guy that intentionally or unintentionally introduced you to porn. Your lust problem is not owing to that woman or a bad internet filter or your stress from school or your stress from work or your testosterone or your inconsistent accountability group that doesn't go deep enough and won't be transparent with you. That's not the case. These things play a part, but your main problem and my main problem is our own sin. Jeremiah 17:9 says, the heart is wicked, desperately wicked, and who can know it but the Lord?